Hello, friends and neighbors. Dr. Ken Berry here. I'm going to be live for the next hour or so answering your questions. So if you have any questions about health, diet, nutrition, dietary topics, I am happy to answer them for you. Type your questions into the comments. Keep them very brief while including all relevant information. I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can. I know that the new year is coming. I know that there are many people who are like, dude, I'm fat and unhealthy. I gotta do something. That's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about simple things you can do, simple steps, simple tricks, simple hacks that you can use to start to immediately get rid of fat on your body, get rid of visceral fat, belly fat, liver fat on your body. Any of your questions that you ask me, I'm going to try to answer that question to answer your question. But also I'm going to try to broaden it out so that it answers the question of many more people, questions they may not even knew they had. There are so many things that we believe that we've been taught by our mama or by our doctor or by some news show or some magazine article we think is fact. When in fact, it's not a fact, it's baloney, it's BS, but we believe that. And those types of mistaken beliefs can slow down your progress back towards good health. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. If you want to bump your question up to the top, then you can include it in a super chat. That's by no means required. I'll try to answer all the super chats, but then I'll also jump in and answer as many questions as I can. For the people, for you. So here's one from TB. Any green vegetables allowed? So if you're going to eat vegetables, TB, you want to always cook them. I really recommend you don't eat raw vegetables. All plants put phytochemicals in their leaves that discourage mammals from eating their leaves. Some people are greatly affected by these in the form of inflammation. Either gut inflammation, joint, skin, scalp, mental inflammation. And so cook the greens. And then also you want to eat the lower carbohydrate vegetables. Most green vegetables are lower in carbohydrates. I actually have a YouTube video called the 7 low-carb vegetables that if you're really wanting the lowest carb ones, check out that video. But pretty much any green vegetable is going to be fairly low in carbohydrates, in sugar. The stuff you really want to avoid plant food wise is all the sugars. You want to avoid all the grains, wheat, rice, oats, corn, all of them. And you want to avoid the starchy tuber vegetables like potatoes, sweet potatoes, Irish potatoes, because these things are just full of starch, which is long chains of sugar that break down, raise your blood sugar, raise your insulin, and cause you to store fat. So I've got a lot of videos on my YouTube channel about a proper human diet. And the main principle you've got to understand about a proper human diet is that at least 1/2 of your plate needs to be covered with fatty meat and or eggs with the yolk, always with the yolk. Do not eat an egg white omelet, or you and I are no longer friends. I will take your name off the Christmas card list if I catch you eating an egg white omelet. The yolk is where all the vitamins and minerals are. It's also where all the healthy fatty acids are. Okay. There's also protein. There's amino acids in the yolk as well. I know many people on keto, ketovore, carnivore that actually throw the whites away and just only eat the yolks. You don't have to do that. But the white is not the healthiest part of the egg. The yolk is the healthiest part of the egg. Let's see. I've got some, if we get time, I've got some news stories that I'm going to share with you guys, but I want to try to answer as many questions as I can. Let's see what we got here. Here's one from Gary. While sleeping, my sugar rises steadily through the night, not suddenly in the morning, which would be the dawn phenomenon. That's right, Gary. As a side sleeper, my shoulders are often sore in the morning. Could this pain be causing the steady sugar rise each night? It could be, yes. Poor sleep, chronic weight gain during the night can raise your blood sugar. If your carbon dioxide level gets higher than it should, that can raise your blood sugar by releasing cortisol. Also, sometimes you'll just have blood sugar elevations during the night, or blood sugar nadirs during the night. That's typically not a cause for concern. It's not your fault. We've seen people wearing a continuous glucose monitor, which I highly encourage. If any of you guys don't have one, you should get one. If you work out hard, your blood sugar goes up. If you fast for a long period of time, your blood sugar goes up. Even when you're in bed asleep, your blood sugar goes up sometimes. These are physiological blood sugar elevations. These are not pathology. This is not your fault. There's nothing you can do about this. As you heal metabolically, Gary, this is probably, you'll notice this. If you've got a CGM, you'll notice that this happens with less and less amplitude. It'll be a smaller elevation in the night. Nav started carnivore with beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, and my gray hairs went away. But on the lion diet, they came back. Why would that be? No idea. No idea. It's possible that you are deficient in a mineral. Sometimes copper has been, low copper has been blamed on prematurely gray hair. You may have been getting more copper on beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, if that's what this is even about. This could be coincidental. We have had reports of people's gray hair kind of turning back to its natural color, but this does not happen for everybody. So don't start keto, ketovore, carnivore because you think your gray hair will turn brown or blonde again. We hear that sometimes, but it's the minority of people who report that. Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you very much, Barbara. Thank you, Sheila. Cynthia, dear Dr. Berry, what is your opinion on allulose? I was just doing some research on this morning. It is being brought to the forefront lately. I cannot tolerate any sugar alcohols, and I'm almost afraid to try it. So there looks like there might be some minor health benefits from eating allulose. Now, I don't want any of you guys to think, oh, allulose is healthy, I'm going to just add it to everything. No. If you're going to have something that you've made at home and you sweetened it with something, probably allulose is probably one of the better choices. And there are some researchers who are saying that allulose kind of mimics the GLP-1s like Ozempic and Wegovy and Mounjaro and Zepbound. I haven't seen any research that convinces me that's true yet, but I will continue to read the research on both allulose and the GLP-1s as we go into the future, because if there's something to this allulose thing, then I will be the first one to jump on here and tell you, hey, you need to start adding some allulose. But currently, I think my recommendation for allulose is if you're going to sweeten your coffee with something, if you're going to make a keto treat for a rare occasion, or anniversary, birthday, whatever, use allulose. It's probably the one that has the least bad benefits and maybe has some good health benefits as well. Thank you very much, Valkyrie. Anastasia, can I be successful if I've had an open Rowan Y? So this is one of the kinds of bariatric surgery or gastric bypass surgery you can get. Had it 21 years ago, so you probably have the rough one. Can't eat much at a time because she has a very small stomach pouch. 150 pounds overweight. So here's any of you guys considering bariatric surgery, I guarantee you Anastasia did not want to be 150 pounds overweight 21 years after her gastric surgery. 61 years old and pre-diabetic. Don't smoke or drink. Yes, 100% you can adopt and stick to. If I were you, I would transition slowly, Anastasia, because your gut has been permanently surgically mutilated. So you don't need to just flip overnight from whatever diet you're eating now to carnivore. I would go first, just keep cutting the carbs, go low carb, and then keto, maybe tighten it up to Ketovore. You're not going to be able to eat one meal a day because of your tiny little stomach pouch. You can eat 2 or 3 meals a day within an 8-hour feeding window, and then fast for the additional 16 hours of the day. If you eat enough protein and fat in those meals, healthy animal protein and healthy animal fat, then you won't be hungry. You won't need to snack between meals, and you can fast for those 16 hours. It'll be easy. Good question. Good question. But I want any of you guys who are considering gastric bypass, bariatric surgery to know very clearly, and your surgeon should tell you this, but sometimes they forget, 80% of people overeat their surgery, stretch their stomach back out, and gain all the weight back. In many cases, they gain even more than what they started with. 8 out of 10 people. So please try a natural way of reversing your severe obesity first. Try keto, try Ketovore, try Carnivore before you lay down for permanently mutilating your guts with bariatric surgery. Jason says, is there a diet for concussion recovery? Not one that's ever been studied scientifically, but it makes perfect sense that a nutrient-dense, uninflammatory diet is going to help your brain heal from a concussion quicker than any other dietary strategy. That makes sense, right? Your brain needs the vitamins and minerals, the fatty acids. Your brain doesn't need to be inflamed by eating inflammatory things. So I would say keto, Ketovore, Carnivore are going to be the most ancestrally appropriate ways to help your brain recover from any injury. Now, again, 6 months carnivore. How would I know if I'm in ketosis? I've checked with a finger prick test. It doesn't show I'm in ketosis. So most people on a carnivore diet are eating essentially 0 grams of carbs a day. They're eating no carbs, very low carbs. And so for most people, you're going to be in ketosis if you're on a carnivore diet for the majority of the day. Maybe not right after you eat a lot of protein. You may be out of ketosis for a while, but you're going to be in ketosis for many hours of the day. Okay. Carnivore is keto. And that, for some reason, makes some carnivore gurus mad. It makes some keto gurus mad, but you can't deny that. The way keto puts you in ketosis is because you've limited your carbohydrate intake. On carnivore, you're limiting your carbohydrate intake even more. So it's just a lower carb version of keto. That's what carnivore is. And then also it doesn't include any of the potentially inflammatory plant phytochemicals, phytotoxins. Good question so far. Here's Valkyrie. Can a person with hyperthyroid still need iodine? Yes. Now, you don't want to get too much iodine, but every cell in your body, Valkyrie, even if you've been diagnosed with overactive thyroid, hyperthyroidism, or even thyroid cancer, every cell in your skin, in your muscles, in your bones, in your internal organs, every cell in your body needs iodine. So you still need iodine. Iodine is not just about your thyroid. And I've got several videos on my YouTube channel about iodine. If you're curious for more information, they explain it. Repent daily. My son is 9-month-old carnivore, no dairy. Oh, 9 months carnivore, no dairy. Acne is improved, still a challenge. Has some scarring, getting frustrated. He's 17 years old, just wait it out. Yeah, because I guarantee you his acne has reduced probably 50 to 75% from where it would have been if he were still eating his junk diet. Also remind your son, your 17-year-old son, that there's no other diet that's going to keep his testosterone aside. There's no other diet that's going to keep his skin as clear, and there's no other diet that's going to keep his testosterone is high and help him put on muscle. Okay. Have him check out Robert Sykes, Keto Savage. Have him check out Sean Baker. Have him check out Anthony Chafee. These guys don't have any trouble building muscle on carnivore. And so if he wants to be muscly and have fewer pimples, not no pimples, that if you're a 17-year-old and you're genetically predispositioned to acne, you're going to have some pimples. What the success is for your son is that there's 75% fewer than there were before he started. And so if he continues, I predict that's the results he'll get. All right. You guys are asking some great questions today. Janice says, I just bought Lugol's iodine. How much should I take? I would start with 1 or 2 drops a day and then keep learning about iodine. And see how your body reacts to that. If you want to later, after a month or 3, you can go up to 3 or 4 drops. But for the vast majority of people who are iodine deficient, even adding 1 or 2 drops of Lugol's 2%, that's going to be way more iodine than your body was getting access to before. Lynn, good question. How can I avoid sugar in over-the-counter medications such as cough syrup, cough drops, melatonin, etc.? So when it comes to melatonin in most supplements, if you'll go to either Puritan.com or Amazon.com and just look for sugar-free melatonin, you're going to find that. Somebody makes that because sugar-free is a big deal. Now, when it comes to cough syrup and cough drops, my question would be, why are you taking those? There's not a single cough syrup, cough drop, cough lozenge. None of this stuff does anything. It might quiet your cough a little, but you're basically sucking on a piece of candy. Okay. Also, there are sugar-free versions of cough syrup and cough drops. You just have to look for them. Many of them use xylitol or some other sugar alcohol. You just have to look for the sugar-free versions. But I want everybody to understand there is nothing at the pharmacy, not Zicam, not vitamin C. There is nothing that's been clinically proven to shorten the duration of a cold. Although you might say, no, if I take this boysenberry or this elderberry, it makes it. No, it doesn't. Every time we put that to the study in a randomized control trial fashion, they don't do anything. They're placebo. And that's probably how they're helping you, because placebos will give you about 30% benefit. So if you're like, well, okay, it's placebo, but it seems like it helps me, I'm going to use it. Fine. I don't think it's going to hurt you. It's placebo. Good questions, guys. Good questions. If you haven't already done so, hit that thumbs up or the heart so that the algorithm knows that this is valuable information. You're always welcome to share this video on your favorite social media so that people who have never heard the good news about a proper human diet can learn about it. I guarantee you got friends and family members who are thinking about January the 1st, thinking about, I got to lose some weight this year. 2025's got to be my year. Yeah. So share this with them. And then also, if you're new here and you're like, okay, but what's the proper human diet? You can get my free Proper Human Diet Guidebook. It's 60 pages long. You can get it for free. I will email you a PDF copy. There's a link down in the show notes. Michelle says, I lost my thyroid because of thyroid cancer. They took my thyroid out. Do I need an iodine supplement? Yes, every cell in your body, Michelle, needs iodine. Every cell. Okay? It's not just about thyroid. So many doctors believe that. They're like, oh, you need iodine for is your thyroid. No, your mammary glands, your breast tissue, they concentrate and store iodine. Your salivary glands, your spit glands, store and concentrate iodine. Every cell in the human body we've ever researched has a sodium iodine symporter, which means it actively pulls iodine into the cell. That means that cell needs that iodine. So even if you don't have a thyroid, even if you have thyroid cancer, even if you have hyperthyroid, you still need iodine. I'm sorry if anybody wants to argue with me, but you're wrong. Also, let me remind all 2,900 of you guys that you're not allergic to iodine. Even if your doctor told you that, even if you remember having a reaction to the x-ray dye or to seafood, it was not the iodine. You are not allergic to iodine. And I'm happy to answer more questions about that. Good question from Riex. How long does it take for my body to become sensitive to insulin again? So your body's going to become more sensitive to insulin. Your insulin is going to work better. Your insulin level is going to come down within 3 weeks of starting real whole food keto or Ketovore or Carnivore. And I've got videos on this channel about all 3 versions of that. So if you're currently pre-diabetic, type 2 diabetic, have high blood pressure, you got fatty liver, you're overweight, you're obese, and you're like, yeah, I got to have some vegetables, then keto. I've got hundreds of videos about how to start and do a ketogenic diet. If you're like, I only need just a little vegetable, that's Ketovore. I got several videos on that. And also my wife, Nisha, has Ketovore videos on her channel as well. Her name is spelled Neisha. She's the most popular Nisha on YouTube. And then Carnivore, if you're like, dude, I could eat meat and eggs and seafood and never eat anything else, then Carnivore. Within 3 weeks, you're going to be more insulin sensitive. Now, it may not be back to normal, but it's going to start to respond immediately when you start one of these ways of eating. The amazing Blumpkin. At 7 days, I've lost 12 pounds. My elbow stopped hurting. Now down 25 pounds. Anybody need to lose 25 pounds? Me too'd myself one day, looked in a shop window, said, hey, nice man boobs. My moobs are disappearing. I've actually got a YouTube video about man boobs and how to make them go away. That'd be a great video to share with the man you love who has boobs that he doesn't love. Share that video with him. You can do it anonymously, maybe, so they don't get upset. But every man deserves to not have moobs. Don't you agree? I want everybody watching right now, tell me what diet you're currently eating. Are you doing carnivore? Are you doing ketovore, keto, low carb, paleo, primal, just standard IC diet? I see it, I eat it. Standard American diet, Mediterranean diet. What are you doing right now? Vegan, vegetarian? Please tell me in the comments. I want to see how many of each one we've got. And I welcome questions from vegans and vegetarians as well. I don't discriminate. Valorous, carnivore chiropractor here. Why might some people object to trying carnivore because eating meat makes them feel heavy? I hear this sometimes. It's almost always a complaint I hear from women that, oh, if I eat too much meat, I have this very heavy feeling. And what I think it is, Valorous, is I think that many of these women have eaten like a bird for so many years, have eaten fat-free for so many years, that when they do eat a diet full of animal fat and protein, and they really initiate and crank up their satiety hormones, I don't think they're used to that. I think they're used to always pushing away from the table while they're still hungry, basically. And so it's a heaviness, like, oh, I don't know, I just feel heavy. But I never hear this from men, it's only women. And it typically goes away in 3 or 4 weeks after they've been on meat-heavy keto or ketovore or carnivore. It goes away. But I do hear this from women sometimes. April, hubby, 72 years old, had diagnosis, had Dr. RX low-dose levothyroxine for hypothyroid. He asked for nature thyroid, but they sent to endo, who said he doesn't need anything. Here's his thyroid labs. They didn't check his reverse T3. His antibodies are less than 9, so he doesn't have Hashimoto's. You could do telemed with one of the low-carb keto-friendly doctors, depending on which state you're in, April, but it would depend on his symptoms. Also, keep in mind, all you guys, if you have symptoms of low thyroid, and you're like, I'm pretty sure, I've been Googling, I think I've got low thyroid. Keep in mind that the symptoms of low thyroid resemble very much the symptoms of low testosterone, and also the symptoms of low adrenal hormones as well. All three of those things can feel very much the same to you, the patient. And so you might want to do a little more research and check some other labs. He may have a reverse T3 problem, but they didn't check that, so you don't know. You'll have to get that checked elsewhere. Excellent, excellent. Anastasia, thank you, Dr. Berry. The WLS did save my life. As I was over 400 pounds, I weigh 265 now and 5 feet tall. Yeah, so you lost a lot of weight, but I bet you gained some back, maybe just not all of it. I wish I knew then what I know now. So many people have told me that. I wish I had met you 10, 15 years ago. I know. I feel the same way. I wish I could go back in time and feed my adult children when they were kids. I wish I could go back and feed them a proper human diet, but we can't go back in time. We can only start right now and work on the future. That's all we can do. And that's what you need to be doing, because the new year's coming. But you don't have to wait till the new year. You can start with your very next meal, eating a proper human diet. And if you need to know what foods are included on a proper human diet, you can get a copy of the Proper Human Diet Guidebook. There's a link in the show notes on YouTube. I don't think it's on Twitter if you're on X, but you can download it for free. I'll send you a free copy in an email. Click the link in the show notes on YouTube. Barbara, carnivore, but a little keto, on Cortef and Synthroid because of adrenal crisis and pituitary tumor removal. Prednisone for polymyalgia rheumatica. any way to get off this medication safely with this way of eating. So you're probably, since you had the pituitary surgery, you're probably going to be on the Cortef and the Synthroid for life. And that's not bad. Your pituitary gland was making those hormones. I would talk to your doctor about trading off the Synthroid, which is synthetic T4. It's not even real T4. Ask them about Armor or Nature Thyroid. They actually contain real T4 along with T3, T2, T1, T0, and calcitonin, all of which your body needs. The prednisone, probably after you've been eating meat-heavy keto, Ketovore, Carnivore for a while, your polymyalgia rheumatica inflammation is going to calm down. And you're just not going to need prednisone at as high of a dosage, and you won't need it as often eating this way. That's kind of a very realistic thing of what you can expect. Jennifer, trying to convince my sister to put her doodle on a carnivore diet to help stop seizures. Your thoughts? Yeah, high-fat carnivore will absolutely help the doodle. For those of you who don't know, all cats are carnivores. Okay, they are obligate carnivores. If you're feeding your cat dry kibble and vegetarian cat food, that's pet abuse. I'm sorry. Okay, I know you love your cat and you thought you were doing the right thing, but cats need meat and fish only. That's what they eat. Dogs are facultative carnivores, meaning they need mostly meat. And they can tolerate some veg because they've been living in such close proximity to human beings for thousands of years, probably over 10,000 years. Dogs have been living near us. And so when we ate something, they would eat the scraps. And so they have actually developed more amylase enzyme genetics. And in a few cases, dogs are actually not completely lactose intolerant like their wild cousins because they've been around humans who've been consuming dairy for so many thousands of years. All cats are lactose intolerant. There is no cat that's not lactose intolerant. Do not give your cat dairy. I know. I saw the cartoons and all the movies where they give the cat a little dish of milk. Adult cats are lactose intolerant. There is no exception. Most adult dogs are lactose intolerant. Not all, but most. So keep that in mind when you're feeding your pet. Your pet is a carnivore. Ernest, what supplements can you recommend if there's no option to sleep more? I have five sleep. Can't change job until next year. Carnivore for 2 years, almost aligned, but due to stress, something needs to be done. With love from Russia. So I understand you can't change your job. You're probably on shift work. And I would look into melatonin. I would look into GABA, G-A-B-A. I'm sure that there's some Russian herbs that the old grandmothers would say, oh, you need to drink this kind of tea, and those are all safe to try. Give them a try. I don't know if you can buy supplements in Russia. I've never been there. Haven't been there yet. But if you can get melatonin, I'd give that a try. And then also watch my sleep hygiene video on my YouTube channel and implement every trick that I talk about in that video. If you just go to YouTube and search Dr. Barry Sleep, you'll find it. And every single thing I talk about, do that in your bedroom environment. And for many people, that allows them to get another hour a night of really deep, good quality sleep, just implementing those things, most of which are cheap, if not free. Here's plant-sparing carnivore. How does frequently elevated physiological blood sugar differ from pathological elevation and causing health damage? Great question. Given that it's the same molecule. It is the same molecule, but keep in mind, first things first, if you're new to this and you don't know a lot of human physiology, you don't have to eat any sugar ever. You don't have to eat any carbohydrates ever. Your liver and some other organs as well, but mainly your liver can make glucose. It can make sugar if any part of your body needs the sugar. Okay? Like literally within seconds, your liver can make your blood sugar go up if a part of your body needs it. That's the only reason that your liver squirts out glucose is if some part of your body has requested it using signaling molecules. Okay? That's a hint to your answer, plant-sparing carnivore. So if plant-sparing carnivore sits down and eats a jelly donut, he or she's going to have a blood sugar spike. His body, no body part asked for that blood sugar spike. It just happened because he ate an inappropriate food. Does that make sense? But if plant-sparing carnivore is working out really hard and his muscle cells have depleted their glycogen stores and they're like, hey, we need some more glucose here, we're working hard, his liver is going to make that immediately. That's going to lead to, if he's wearing a continuous glucose monitor, that's going to show a blood sugar elevation. Do you see how it's different? If your body is requesting the glucose, it's not going to glycate. Your body's going to use it immediately, even though it shows up as a blood sugar spike or a blood sugar elevation. If you fast for a long period of time, parts of your body will request some glucose from your liver. You don't have to eat it. Your liver will say, sure, here's some. It's got to get from the liver to that body part. It does that through the bloodstream. So it's going to pump out some blood sugar, which is going to show up on your glucometer or your CGM. Does that make sense? But your body part, it's not going to circulate for 10, 20, 30 minutes like when you eat the jelly donut. It's going to be taken up immediately after one lap through the body. But it'll still be recorded as blood sugar elevation. Does that make sense? But it's that a physiological blood sugar elevation is not dangerous. It's not glycating. It doesn't cause the A1C to go up. And we have many carnivores, plant-sparing carnivore, who've noticed this, like, oh, yeah, when I'm working out, it goes up to 130. If I fast for 3 days, it goes up to 120. In the morning, sometimes it's 105, but then I get my A1C checked, it's 5.2. So it's obviously not glycating. So that's the explanation for that. Great question. Thank you for that. Man, you guys are full of questions today, and I love it. If you haven't already done so, hit the thumbs up or the heart, and you're welcome to share this video on your social media. Even if you're on a conservative social media or a liberal social media, everybody deserves better health. Please share this video. When it comes to health and nutrition, I don't take political sides. That's not my game. I don't care about that. So share it everywhere, please. All right, let's see. Here's Paul G from Australia. Going carnivore has transformed my health. How many people do you know who would love to say, my health has been transformed? Share this video with them. Here's Gary. Thank you, Dr. Barry. Carnivore since June of last year. Lost 65 pounds. Low energy all the time. Not as strict as I should be. Any thoughts? You're probably not eating enough salt. You may not be getting enough electrolytes. You may not be getting enough good quality sleep. You may be drinking too much water. You may be salting your food not enough. Any of those things could be causing this. Also, it's time to go see your doctor, Gary, and get some blood work checked. This could be undiagnosed low thyroid. This could be undiagnosed adrenal issues. It could be undiagnosed low sex hormones. Any of those things could cause this to happen. Good questions. Yeah, Charles has got a comment about allulose. Allulose should be taken in small doses. If you're trying to take a lot of it, like in coffee or elsewhere, it will definitely cause diarrhea. So if any of you guys want to experiment with allulose, this doesn't happen in everybody, but Charles is right. For some people, if you eat too much allulose too quickly before your gut microbiome is used to it, you'll get the shits, 100%. Now, some people this doesn't happen to, but some people it does. So start off with just a little bit of allulose and keep bumping it up as your sweetener. And then I'm going to keep researching it to see if there's any reason that we should take even more of it than just an occasional treat. Yep, Rose is right. She's arguing with Susan Perez. She says the alkaline diet is a myth. You want acidity to digest properly. Yeah. If you're listening to any guru or influencer out there and they're like, oh, you need to drink alkaline water, you can safely unfollow them. They don't have even a basic understanding of human digestive physiology. Like literally you and ChatGPT in 5 minutes of asking questions, you would be able to say, alkaline water's a stupid waste of money. Yes, it is. Yes. There are people that that sell $1,000 alkaline water machines that you can have in your home. Alkaline water does not help the human body in any way. It is a complete and utter waste of money. The alkaline diet, like, oh, eat all the plants, because if you don't, you'll get acidic. This is, again, if you hear somebody say that eating too much meat will make your blood acidic or your serum acidic, you can unfollow them, because they are a intellectual child when it comes to understanding human physiology. You cannot eat enough vegetables to make your blood alkaline. You cannot eat enough meat to make your blood acidic. This is kindergarten foolishness. So if you've heard anybody say that, do not listen to anything else they say, because if they don't understand that basic concept, they don't know a damn thing about human nutrition or human physiology. I've made videos about all those things, but just thought I would sum that up for you. Eileen says, what about Berberine? Yay or nay? So if your A1C is still above 5.6, then I think it's fine to take some metformin, glucophage, or Berberine. They're basically the same thing. One's FDA approved and pharmaceutically monitored. The other is a supplement, but they're effectively the same molecule. A lot of people can take Berberine, even though glucophage or metformin gives them gut symptoms. They can take the Berberine. But now, if your A1C is under 5.7, there's really no reason to take glucophage, metformin, or Berberine. Life's abundant journey. Have you seen Carnivore curing physically handicapped from encephalitis? This is from the Powassan tick virus, unfortunately still having dysphagia. The brain is the slowest healing organ in the human body, okay? I don't think you're going to be able to cure the damage done by this encephalitis. But I think that if any diet is going to give your brain all the vitamins and minerals it needs and all the fatty acids that it needs to slowly rebuild and grow new neurons, and that can happen. It's a very slow process, but there are stem cells in the human brain. But this is going to take years. It's not going to take weeks or months, okay? Meat heavy keto, ketovore, carnivore would be the diet. If you were my brother or sister and you had this and you said, brother, help me, what should I eat? There is no diet that's going to give you a higher odds of healing this, at least to some degree, than a proper human diet that's meat heavy. Justin, want to do the lion diet, which is just ruminant meat, salt, and water. So a ruminant is cows, sheep, and goats in most countries. Also reindeer. Also, camels are hindgut fermenters, but they still kind of do the same thing. And then gazelles and antelopes and stuff like that, venison, are ruminants. So lion diet is just ruminant meat, salt, and water. But every time I try it, my nervous tics increase. As soon as I add back in lots of egg yolks, they noticeably reduce. So there's something in the egg yolk that you're not getting from just the beef. Sounds like you need to keep egg yolks in your diet. And many carnivores don't even eat the egg whites anymore. They only eat the yolk because it's about a 1-to-1 fat to protein ratio, and it's full of all the vitamins and minerals. The white of an egg just is the protein. That's all it is. Keep that in mind. If you're going to throw part of the egg away, throw the white away. Adriana, carnivore since September and have lost 40 pounds. Do you know anybody that needs to lose 40 pounds? Take a screenshot of Adriana's comment. Send it to them. Someone's mentioned if you have hemochromatosis, you should not do it. This is not true. I have one of the genes, but not both. Advice, please. Yeah, it's perfectly fine to eat a carnivore or a ketovore diet or meat-heavy keto if you have hemochromatosis. Now, you're going to want to monitor your hemoglobin, hematocrit, and your other iron labs, regardless of what diet you're eating. Your doctor is going to want you to monitor those labs every 3 to 6 months. And if these numbers start to go up, you can donate blood, called phlebotomy. And you can either, sometimes the doctors will draw it off and just pour it down the sink at their office, but you can go to Red Cross or one of the other organizations and actually donate blood and keep these numbers down. And then also enjoy all the benefits from the nutrient density of eating an animal-based diet, all the uninflammatory benefits of eating an animal-based diet. Absolutely, you can do that. Valorius, again, our chiropractor, how do you combat people who argue eating plant is safe via hormesis? So here, first we get, let me define hormesis for people who don't know. Not everybody's a nerd like me and you, Valorius. So hormesis is the concept that if something causes a little bit of irritation, that can actually make your system stronger. So an example would be if you were training to be a fighter, and I said, okay, I'm going to help you with some hormetic training or some hormesis. I would come over to your house once a day and punch you in the face when you least expected it. And I'm like, yeah, it's going to cause some swelling and maybe a little bleeding, but it's going to make you stronger eventually. That's what many people say about the phytochemicals in plants. Sulforaphane is one of these that they're like, oh, the hormetic effect of this. What they're saying is it's going to cause inflammation in your body. And they're right, it is. But they're trying to say, well, that strengthens your body. Well, for some people, that may be true, but for many people, it actually causes too much inflammation. And I don't think it's a hormetic benefit. I think it's a net negative. And so that's why so many people, once they go carnivore, and then they try to reintroduce plants, and they're like, oh, hell no. My gut bloated up, my joints ached, my skin broke out, my mental health went in the toilet. I'm never adding plants back again. And that's because for some of these people, the phytochemicals are not just a hormetic stress. They're an actual stress. And so many people believe this. I followed Dr. Rhonda Patrick for years. I've watched so many hours of her videos, and she's a huge fan of this. I've noticed that she's talking more about meat lately. I think maybe she's been looking into the carnivore stuff as well, but she still believes that the hormetic stress from sulforaphane and the other phytochemicals in plants are actually good for you. But I'm not convinced that that's true. Ambolander, 54-year-old male, 14 months carnivore, lost 80 pounds. 80 pounds lost right here. January the 1st is coming, guys. New Year's coming. Do you want to lose weight? You don't want to lose muscle. You don't want to lose bone. You don't want to lose connective tissue. You want to lose fat. And that's what meat heavy keto or ketovore or carnivore do. They help you burn off the fat quicker, metabolize the fat. That's what they do. But now diagnosed with prostate cancer with mass, should I add fruits and veggies? No. Why would you do that? You probably had the prostate cancer before you ever started carnivore, because prostate cancer typically takes 3 to 7 years before it shows up in the testing. VA wants a radical prostatectomy. That would be your very last option, Ambolander. Okay. There's actually a new procedure that I've been reading about where they actually ligate the arteries feeding the prostate gland. And so the prostate gland loses its blood supply and it shrinks. And if there's any cancer in it, that's going to die, because the cancer has to have a blood supply or it'll die. So the arterial ligation procedure, but there's many other options. Radical prostatectomy is the favorite surgery of old VA doctors, because that's the one they've done so many times. They're used to it. But it is almost impossible to have a radical prostatectomy and not have incontinence, impotence, all kinds of other problems. So you need a second opinion. Hopefully you can find a young urologist in the VA system that you can talk to who is trained in the newer procedures, because the radical prostatectomy, you might need that ultimately, but that needs to be the very last consideration on your list. In other words, there's no other option that's going to work for this cancer except for a radical prostatectomy. Get a second opinion. Anastasia again, I started a proper human diet last Wednesday, midday, too excited to wait, no carbs, all meat, butter, cheese, bacon, and eggs. Sugar addict. I was a sugar addict all my life, but no problem now. Sugar addiction is real, my friends. Carbohydrate addiction is real. A lot of the experts out there, let me redo that, experts will say, oh, there's no such thing as sugar addiction. You should eat all things in moderation, eat the rainbow, blah, 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 blah. Sugar addiction is very, very real. And I think you'll see with some recent political changes in the United States at the federal level, as some research is starting to be promoted and no longer being silenced, I think it's going to become very obvious very quickly that sugar's addictive, at least in many people. Maybe not everybody. Just like alcohol is not addictive for everybody. Some people can stay drunk for a month and then walk away and never touch alcohol again. Some people got to go rehab. It's a difference in people, right? The current FDA, the head of the FDA was just in front of Congress and said, ultra-processed food's addictive. It's habit forming. Yes, absolutely. And it's the sugar that's the main molecule behind the addiction. So if any of you guys are suffering from, you think you've got food addiction or disordered eating or an eating disorder, it could just be sugar addiction. And once you get the sugar out of your mouth, it helps you make better food decisions. Eureka Mo, 75-year-old male, all numbers are normal, A1C 5.2. I've been listening to you since 2020, and I am a tribe member. Thanks. Lion diet, but I never liked eggs. Do we need them? If you can eat 2 to 4 ounces of liver once a week, Eureka Mo, you can leave off the eggs. Okay, it could be cod liver, chicken liver, turkey liver, beef liver, pork liver, sheep liver, doesn't matter, some kind of liver. And that's going to give you all the vitamins and minerals that you might potentially be missing from the lion diets. I'm not convinced you're losing any. Now, what did Eureka Mo mean by I'm a tribe member? So we have a private community where when people see one of my YouTube videos and they're like, oh my God, this sounds right, but I have so many questions. You can become a member of our community. There's a link in the show notes on the YouTube video of this. And you can sign up. It's $15 a month or $30 a month, or you can pay annually and get like a 10-15% discount. But you've got access to 4 additional live Q&As a week from me, plus our coaches. We've got over 10 certified health coaches in our private community who will answer your questions. And we have special doctors who go live in there. Dietitians, registered dietitians go live in there all the time. I would say there's probably 10 live Q&As a week from all the different people inside of the community every week. If you need that kind of, like, I've got so many questions, I'm on all these medications, I need to talk to somebody. Don't pay $2,000 or $3,000 for a consultation with some doctor remotely. Join the tribe. There's a link in the show notes on YouTube. Ed, nitrate-free bacon is super expensive in the UK. My kids and I love bacon. Can I eat nitrate bacon every day, or is this risky? Nitrate is not bad for you. It is good for you, okay? The nitrate-free bacon actually has nitrates in it, at least in the United States, but they use nitrates from beet greens or from celery. But it's still nitrates, okay? One of the big pharmaceutical houses is actually doing phase 1 or phase 2 clinical trials with a drug that's basically a capsule full of nitrates, because nitrates in your bloodstream, some are converted to nitrites and then are converted into nitric oxide. You ever heard of that? It helps lower your blood pressure. The 2 ways to get nitric oxide are from going out in sunlight, because your body will convert the nitrites in your blood. You have them in there all the time. Your body makes them. Your salivary glands make nitrites. And then you swallow them, for God's sake. They're not bad for you. Your body makes them and circulates them. And then when you're in the sunlight, your skin converts nitrites to nitric oxide. Or you can just eat bacon every day, get your nitrates there, turn them into nitrites, and then your body turns that into nitric oxide and helps lower your blood pressure, helps fight inflammation. Bacon is a health food. Bacon is not bad for you. And you don't have to spend the extra money for nitrate-free, because I don't know about it in the UK. It may truly be nitrate-free, but in the US, it can say nitrate-free and still contain nitrates from plants. Yeah. So the nitrates in bacon are very dangerous, but the nitrates in celery greens and beet greens, they're very good for you, even though they're the same molecule. I shit you not. Such is the state of American nutrition currently that we believe such foolish stuff. You want to come say hi to everybody, Nisha?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I thought he already came. Look, you want to call that back? The top one. Oh, we took care of it. Okay. Christine, thank you very much. Abraham, thank you very much. Drew Bud, hey doc, appreciate the info. Want to know about coffee and whole cream and if it affects fat loss in a positive way or negative way. I am trying to lose body fat. Should I leave the whole cream out? Should I drink coffee? So for the vast majority of people, drinking coffee is actually a net positive. Some few people can have a reaction to coffee. In some few people, it can make their triglycerides go up. In some few people, it can make their blood sugar go up. But the vast majority of people who are trying to lose fat, coffee is a net positive because it a little bit appetite suppressant. It speeds up your metabolic rate a little bit with the caffeine. It is not a diuretic. Everybody, if you just said that inside your head because you've heard that before, that's not true. Coffee is not a diuretic. Coffee will make you go to the bathroom, but it's not the same way as taking a diuretic. For the vast majority, so it depends, Drew, Bud. If you've been using that sugar-laden coffee creamer in your coffee, that it tastes like syrup, you know what I'm talking about? I can't remember the brands. Coffee Mate, Carnation, they make them. It's like Swiss Mocha and pumpkin spice latte. They've got so much sugar in them, you're never going to lose fat. So if you replace one of those with heavy cream or double cream, then yeah, you've really cut the sugar out. And the fat in the heavy cream is not really going to raise your insulin very much. Now, some people are a little sensitive. If they use too much heavy cream, it will slow down their weight loss. So if you're like, yeah, I want to lose weight as quick as possible, just drink your black coffee if you can tolerate it, plus or minus some allulose. But for most people, they can put a teaspoon or two of heavy cream or double cream in their coffee, and it's not going to break the physiological fast that they're going for, and it's fine. Cheek, I asked about my husband has 1.64 creatinine, BUN 17, EGFR 52.9, so stage 2 or 3 chronic kidney disease. Cholesterol 205, LDL 143. Can his high cholesterol be affecting his kidney function, and what can he do about both? No, his cholesterol and his LDL are, I'm sure your doctor said they're high. They are not having any negative effect on his kidney function whatsoever. Okay. If anything, the high cholesterol is protecting his kidney function. What's destroying his kidney function is the sugar in his diet, the carbohydrates that all break down into sugar. Okay. Now, this damage may have been done in the past, or he may still be eating a diet high enough in carbohydrates that he's still doing damage to his kidneys. He absolutely needs to be eating under 50 total grams of carbohydrates a day, at least. Preferably under 20 total grams of carbohydrates a day. We have seen people with stage 2 and stage 3 chronic kidney disease improve their kidney function, go back to stage 2 or even stage 1. In some cases, go back to normal kidney function on a very low carbohydrate diet full of real whole food. So yes, absolutely. We've seen hundreds and hundreds of people improve kidney function on keto, meat-heavy keto, real whole food keto, Ketovore, and Carnivore. So pick whichever one sounds the best to him, and he needs to stick to it, and then recheck his kidney labs every 3 months. Now, thoughts on Berberine for digestive issues. I've never heard it used for digestive issues. If it helps your digestive issues, then it's very safe to give it a try. Brett Johnson, my mother-in-law just had a massive heart attack, 5 bypasses. Cardiologist said red meat once a week and no saturated fat. So frustrating. Yeah, this is complete and utter horseshit. This cardiologist means well. This cardiologist is not part of some big conspiracy. This cardiologist believes in his or her heart of hearts that red meat is bad for human health and bad for human hearts. There's not a shred of research to support this. I think Brett is smart enough. If this is the Brett Johnson, I think it is, he knows better than this. He was just sharing this to help you guys learn a lesson. Cardiologists are not trained in nutrition. They have not read the nutrition research. All they've done is watched an episode of some news article on MSNBC, or they read an article in the Huffington Post or something, and they think that plant-based is the best heart healthy diet. There's no research to support that. It makes no sense. If you think about it, hyperglycemia, high blood sugar, and hyperinsulinemia, high insulin levels, will destroy heart muscle, inflame and destroy heart muscle. Ketones, beta hydroxybutyrate and the other ketones, acetoacetate, will actually heal heart tissue and help heart muscles pump better. This is proven in the literature. But yet they say things like this because your mother-in-law, if she was eating red meat every day, now she goes to eating red meat once a week, she's going to have to eat something else instead of red meat. And if what she eats instead of the red meat is full of carbohydrates, full of starch, full of soluble fiber, that's going to raise her blood sugar, which is going to raise her insulin, and she's going to actually be doing more damage to her heart and her heart arteries. Please don't follow this advice. I don't think you're going to, but please, anybody else out there that has been told the same thing, ask them for the research study proving that. Say, would you print me out the research study proving that red meat is bad for my heart? Could you print that out for me? Because I want to see that. And if they print you out some observational epidemiological research, laugh at them and throw it back in their face. And I said, no, I ask you to prove it to me. This doesn't prove anything. This is somebody's opinion. You have every right to do that as a patient. Hey, Nicoletta, thank you very much. Guesswork guidelines. Hey, Dr. Barry, Ketovore reversed my diabetes. My A1C is 5.2 now, and my insulin level is 4. Awesome. On a fatty meat carnivore diet for 2 years, and recent private test shows A1C of 6.1 and fasting insulin of 15. So you may need to go back on Ketovore. That may be better for you. If your insulin's 15, did you fast for 12 to 14 hours? Either you're using a sauce or a condiment or a rub or a spice that's full of sugar, or carnivore may not be for you. You may need to go back to Ketovore. This doesn't make any sense. Or we know you haven't developed type 1 diabetes because you're making plenty of insulin, right? Are you eating 1 meal a day, 2 meals a day, 3 meals a day? I wish you were part of our private community so that you could tell me more information and ask more questions. There's a link in the show notes if you want to join, because this shouldn't be happening. There's something else going on here that we're missing. We need to dig into that more. Cab David Middleton. When I eat more than OMAD, although carnivore, butter, beef, and eggs, I am bounced out of ketosis with this. Don't worry about this. Don't chase your ketones all the time. If all you ate is beef, butter, and eggs, you're going to either still be in ketosis, maybe a low ketosis, but then you're going to be right back in ketosis in just a few hours. You may need to be eating OMAD, or you may be just fine eating 2 meals a day, whichever one keeps you satiated and makes you the happiest. Don't worry about calculating the GKI. I don't think it's a big deal. Most people, I don't recommend anybody on a carnivore diet be checking your ketones or checking anything really. The only blood sugar elevations you're going to have are physiological. The only ketone drops you're going to have are physiological, temporary. You don't have to do that on carnivore. Brian, what would you advise keto diet-wise to a person with chronic uric acid based kidney stones? You probably need to be a carnivore. Okay. Read up on what exactly causes uric acid stones. You can have uric acid stones and have a normal uric acid level in your blood. It's not just that your uric acid level is high and that makes you make uric acid stones. There's a defect sometimes in the processing of uric acid in the kidney or in other parts of the body that lead to you forming uric acid stones. It's not caused by meat or seafood. That's not what's causing it. Carly, can carnivore help multiple myeloma? I have not heard a lot of feedback from anybody with multiple myeloma. I have checked with Dr. Sean Baker, checked with Dr. Anthony Chafee. I have not heard any feedback on multiple myeloma. Typically, so multiple myeloma is not a solid tumor cancer. It may or may not help, but it's definitely not going to hurt. That's the thing. If you're fighting multiple myeloma, what you also don't want to be doing is fighting type 2 diabetes and fatty liver, high blood pressure, metabolic syndrome, and weight gain. And if you're eating a high carb diet, you're going to be fighting those things as well. You want your body to be able to focus 100% on fighting the myeloma. You need to get rid of all the other medical conditions. That's going to make your body stronger and help it fight this more effectively. Does that make sense? And that goes for you guys. If you have any cancer, any medical condition, and you ask me, hey, will keto or ketovore or carnivore, will it help this? The answer may be yes, but indirectly, because by eating meat heavy, real whole food keto or ketovore or carnivore, you're going to reverse and get rid of your type 2 diabetes and reverse and get rid of your hyperinsulinemia. That's going to make your body much stronger and more able to fight whatever the other thing is. Does that make sense? All right, one more question, and then I've got to get off here. Charlie, would you advise a nursing mother to skip keto or carnivore diet until she's done with the breastfeeding stage? Absolutely not. Keto, ketovore, carnivore are the best diets that are going to help a woman make the most nutritious breast milk. Now, women who are breastfeeding do not need to go out of their way to fast. I don't want you doing longer fasts. I don't want you portion controlling. I want you eating until you're comfortably stuffed. I think keto with a few nuts, a few berries, a little bit of green veg, but lots of fatty meat, lots of eggs with the yolk, lots of seafood. That's like the perfect diet for making breast milk. Your breast milk is going to be so nutrient complete, nutrient dense. Keep in mind that if you get enough vitamin D yourself, either from the sun or from a supplement or from vitamin D rich foods, I got a YouTube video of what those are, then you'll actually make vitamin D in your breast milk. The reason most women don't have vitamin D in their breast milk is because they don't get enough vitamin D themselves to be able to spare any to put in their breast milk. True story. I got a YouTube video about that too. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. This has been a blast. We'll have to do this again sometimes. Thanks for all the super chats. I apologize if I was not able to get to your question. I'll be back again to do this soon. Don't forget to share this. It's not too late. And if you want to become a member of our tribe, the link's in the show notes on YouTube. If you want a free copy of the Proper Human Diet Guidebook, the link is in the show notes on my YouTube video. See you next time.